The final day of the Best Of series is today, Day 7. You'll hear from Ira Matthews. You'll hear from Marcus Allen and Tim Brown. We got to go out with a bang, right? It's all coming up on Friday's edition of the Locked On Raiders podcast for June 28th, 2024.
You are Locked On Raiders, your daily Las Vegas Raiders podcast. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network. Your team every day.
And welcome in, Raider Nation, to another edition of the Locked On Raiders podcast. Thanks so much for making the show your first listen of the day. Make sure you subscribe or follow for free on YouTube or wherever you get your podcast to get the latest edition of the show. As always, if you're checking us out on YouTube, you know we appreciate that. The show has grown so much each and every day, and that's because of the support of Raider Nation and because of the job my man Ari does. He does a fantastic job each and every day, takes a lot of pride in his work. We're looking good on YouTube. We're sounding good, and that's what we're supposed to be doing. So shout out to Ari. You can find him on Twitter at Ari Produces. You can hit me up as well at your boy Q254. And normally, matter of fact, starting back on Monday, we'll have the Locked On Raider podcast voicemail line, 707-654-4693. Your calls and texts will deep dive back into it as I'll be back from vacation. A lot of really good, needed R&R, and I'm looking forward to being back. But today is the final day of the Best Of series, and definitely appreciate you rocking with us over the course of the time while I've been on vacation myself and the wife. The only time we really get a chance to get away throughout the course of the year because of football season, and we basically have to build our lives around the football calendar, which is okay, right? Obviously, it's a good thing, but yeah, we got to make sure we can take advantage when we can. So coming up on today's show, segment number 2 and 3, and I know that these two guys have been a part of the show not too long ago, but we got to close things out with the Hall of Famers, Marcus Allen and Tim Brown. A great conversation I had with them when I was a part of the Raiders Alumni Wellness Weekend. That was a fantastic conversation. I know a lot of folks were very interested in that conversation when I put it on the podcast a few weeks back, so we're going to close things out with those two guys, Marcus Allen and Tim Brown, from the Raiders Alumni Wellness Weekend. Also from that weekend, how about Ira Matthews? Ira Matthews did some really good things for the Silver and Black in a short amount of time. You'll hear from him as well. As a matter of fact, we'll jump right into it after I tell you about the title sponsor of the show, which is Gametime. Download the Gametime app, create an account, use promo code LOCKEDONNFL for $20 off your first purchase. Terms do apply. I'll tell you more about them later on in the show, but let's go ahead and jump right into it. Ira Matthews is the guy that I want you to hear from first. Of course, Marcus Allen and Tim Brown will be coming up in segment number 2 and 3, but Ira played wide receiver and kick returner for the Raiders from 1979 to 1981. Super Bowl champ with Super Bowl 15. He had the Monday Night Football record for kickoff return, touchdown, 104 yards versus the Chargers back in 1979. And it's funny, he's a guy that I didn't recognize at the event, but my guy Vegas Jess, who I'm really good friends with, him and Jason were there. They were able to experience the whole event with me as well. He said, hey, man, that's Ira Matthews. He's got the record for that kickoff return, 104 yards versus the Chargers. I was like, man, bring him over. And he was really one of the coolest dudes to talk to. So really was happy, actually, that I had the opportunity to catch up with him. That was because of my guy, Vegas Jess. But here's that conversation from the Raiders Alumni Wellness Weekend with Ira Matthews, again, wide receiver and kick returner with the Oakland Raiders from 1979 to 1981 and a Super Bowl champ in Super Bowl 15. Here's that conversation. Ira, how you doing, my man?
I'm good. You know, it's always good to be seen and heard, and I can't complain about too much of anything.
I heard that. It's funny. I used to, whenever I'd see Mike Haynes around, I'd always say, hey, it's nice to see you. And he's like, it's nice to be seen.
That's right.
Right?
Well, you know, when you get our age, I'm trying to get 67.
I heard that.
So, you know, Pops just passed away a couple weeks ago. You know, and a lot of us, we know we ain't going to be here forever, but it's part of life. But it's good to be seen.
Right.
I'll lay you that.
There's no doubt. Well, we're glad to have you. And, you know, how is it for you to be able to come here to an event like this, set up for you, Raider alumni, and just be a part of that and fellowship with your fellow brothers?
Hey, this is what the Raiders do. We the forefront of everything, the health and wellness, the trust in all the other organizations with the NFL put this on in 10, 15 cities a year. They've been to Houston a few times. I participated in them. At the Super Bowl, they do it. Pro Bowl, they do it. The draft, they do it. They're going to do it at the Hall of Fame. But, like if you was here this morning, Mark Davis told everybody, this is the Raiders doing this.
Yeah.
For Raider alumni.
Right.
So it's a start like we always do. We lead the forefront.
What does it mean to you to be a Raider? Drafted in the 6th round, but to be selected by the Silver and Black. What did that mean to you?
Hey, it wasn't a lifelong dream. Football wasn't a lifelong dream of mine. I played, I was good, and God opened the door for me, and Mr. Davis believed in me, and I did my part. Played with a bunch of great guys. I just saw Jim Plunkett today, talked to him. He should be in the Hall of Fame. I talked to Lester Hayes maybe twice a month. He should be in the Hall of Fame. Rod Martin should be in the Hall of Fame. But, hey, once a Raider, always a Raider. It is what it is. We call ourselves the ones that drafted here. We're born Raider.
Right.
So we got a lot of adopted Raiders. They cool. They still family, though.
They still kinfolk.
Yeah, they still kinfolk. You got it right on the head, man.
I'm not mad at that. Ira Matthews is with us here on Raider Nation Radio 920. Unnecessary roughness. So I look over and I see that ring on your finger.
Man. It's 1980. You wasn't even born. None of y'all.
Hey.
Now, he might have been. My guy there. I knew him a long time. That's my guy, though, man.
Yeah, that's a good dude. No, I was born in '76, so I was around. I was a little cute at that time. I wasn't a big cute.
Yeah, you look cute, but shoot, it's all good. It's always good to get back to see all the former players and guys I played with and guys I didn't. But it's one big family, and hey, nobody do it like the Raiders.
Right. What does it feel like to be a Super Bowl champion, to be able to rock that ring?
Well, that's a long time ago, man. 1980, second ring for the Raiders. I think as older you get, you appreciate it more. Mm-hmm. And right now, our rings, when we got it in 80, was 77, then 80. These were the original big rings.
Yeah.
Shoot, now them rings are bigger than that mouse you got.
Right.
You can't walk around with
at
that.
all.
It's a sign of accomplishment, and really appreciate the camaraderie that we all had. And that's what happens when we get together, about the camaraderie.
Yeah.
And the stories we can tell that I can't tell y'all.
You can tell us those later.
No, I can't do that neither.
Get us all in trouble.
Yeah.
We'll get y'all in trouble.
No,
we don't want to do that. We don't want to do that. So you've got the record. You've got the kick return record. I want to ask you a couple things. One, what does that mean? That 104-yard kick return for you. How special is that?
Well, it's special. At the time, it was a Monday Night Football record, 104 yards. It lasted 20 years. And I know it's never going to be broken because they're not going to come out the end zone no more. So I'm pretty sure it's going to be intact for infinitely.
Yeah.
But I had a lot of returns called back in my career that ain't made highlights and not on the record. But my teammates know.
Right. And you know.
I know.
Yeah.
But I appreciate them doing whatever blocking they did for that return, and it lived for infinity. But that's cool. I appreciate it.
Well, the NFL this year has changed the kickoff rule. They're trying to get that explosive play back into it. I don't know if it's going to be like it was, but they're trying to get it back.
Oh, I ain't heard about that one. What, they going to let you catch the ball before they start rushing?
What they do now, I guess if this is how I'm thinking of it. If the returner, like you, catch it and you're on the run, you're gone. Like you cannot let a returner catch it now because the blocker, the guy who's coming down trying to make the tackle, he can't move until you touch the ball or until it hits the ground. One of the two.
Man, I wish they had that rule when I was in there. Shoot. As soon as they kicked it, they was coming.
Right.
Punch, kick off.
Right.
Don't matter. And, hey, keep your head on a swivel.
Man, I'm telling you.
But I know in the USFL, I guess whatever they call it, XFL, whatever they call it.
That's where they got this one from.
Yeah, that's where they got it from.
Yep.
You can fair catch it, kick off, and all that kind of stuff. If they kick the ball off, if it didn't go out of bounds or through the end zone, you need to run that joker.
Yeah.
Because whoever recover it,
right,
going to get the ball right there. But it's going to keep all them concussions. That's what they want to do, I know, out of the game for the young guys and all that. But I hope it don't take away a guy that my skill that could run, punch, kick off, versatile I was receiver, running back.
Yeah.
An all-purpose guy, I want to say like that. But hope it don't take them out the game. But the league seems like they want to do what's best for the league, which I know why, concussion suits and all that.
Yep.
But we'll see how it plays out.
What was it like for you to stand back there and know that ball was about to come, and like you said, all those jokers were coming after you as soon as they kicked the ball?
Man, I don't know. When I first started playing football, Pop Warner Leagues, junior tackle, my first team I played for, Booker T. Washington Center in Rockford, Illinois, I was a quarterback, and I don't know who made me the quarterback, and I always ran punts and kickoff. I can't even remember what the guy was that made me do that. And through all my career, high school, college, and in the league, it was something I did.
Yeah.
But yeah, you got to be looking. You got to know what you're doing.
Yeah.
And sometimes you just got to get down.
Look out!
Look out and get down, man.
Yeah, it's not for everybody. It's not for everybody. That's a tough position to play. You know?
Especially when I was out there.
Right, exactly. I mean, it's like you said, it's really tamed out a lot now. But before, I mean, again, you were the brave of the brave if you're going to be back there.
Yeah, they had guys busting wedges and all that, man. They didn't care.
No.
And whoever got the ball, I knew that as growing up. If you got the ball, or we want to call it the rock, they coming.
Right.
It don't matter. They coming.
No doubt.
You need to protect yourself by all means, but if I got a break, and if I got out there, they can hang it up. I'm gone. I never got caught from behind.
If you saw the back of your jersey, it was a wrap, right?
Right.
There you go.
In my life.
Not mad at that.
I really appreciate it.
Before I let you go, I wanted to pass this message along. We just got a text that tell Ira Homer says hi.
Yeah, Homer, my man. When I'm going to see you, man, I'm coming up. I might come to the Denver game this year. Let me know what's going on. Love you.
There it is. There it is. Ira, thanks so much for giving us a few minutes of your time. We really appreciate you. Enjoy this weekend. Enjoy you. Enjoy you and your brothers.
Hey, I appreciate all the stuff y'all do. Raider Nation for life. Worldwide. Appreciate y'all.
Really good dude right there, Ira Matthews. And I'll tell you, man, that was a fun conversation. And even after that conversation was over, even after the event was over, we had gone over to the Raiders Grill and Tavern, and we were having a couple drinks. I was kind of on a high from the show just because it was so unexpected to be able to talk to Jay Schrader, Nick Bell, Marcus Allen, Tim Brown, Ryan Hogue, Sandra Douglas Morgan, Ira Matthews, Orrin O'Neal, Bill Romanowski, and Jacoby Ford. You squeeze all that into a 3-hour show, and you'd be on a high too. I was on such a high, I was like, man, we got to go get a drink real quick at the Raiders Grill and Tavern. And so we actually caught up with Ira Matthews. He was there. They were about to go to an event. I want to say it was Top Golf. No, they were going to the Aces game. Some of the Raider alumni were going over to Top Golf, and the other alumni were going over to the Aces game. And so Ira Matthews actually stood by us at the bar and talked to us for a few minutes. Really cool, down-to-earth dude. So glad I was able to catch up with him. Glad I was able to make his acquaintance. And please believe that will be not the last time he's on the show. I'll have him on more times than not. Really want to get to know Ira Matthews. So that's what I got for you for segment number 1 of today's Locked On Raiders podcast. Coming up in segment number 2, part 1 of my conversation with Marcus Allen and Tim Brown. As a matter of fact, part 1 is just Marcus Allen. So you'll hear that conversation coming up in segment number 2 of today's Locked On Raiders podcast. Before I get to that, though, I do want to tell you about the title sponsor of the show, which is Gametime. And Gametime is the authorized ticket marketplace of Major League Baseball. It makes getting tickets faster and easier. Prices on the Gametime app actually go down the closer it gets to the first pitch. Great last-minute deals, all-in prices, views from your seat, and their lowest price guarantee. Gametime takes the guesswork out of buying Major League Baseball tickets. So if you want to go see the Dodgers and Shohei Ohtani, maybe you want to go see the Yankees and Aaron Judge, maybe you want to check out the Braves, the Mets, whatever the case may be. I would say the A's, but they're the A's. So I'm going to leave that alone. Of course, we all still remember and think about the loss of the great Willie Mays, the Say Hey Kid. So maybe you want to go and see the Giants and see what they got going on. Well, Gametime can help you do that. They got last-minute deals. They got flash deals, zone deals, all-in prices, and even better, you can see the view from your seat before you even buy the tickets. You get a panoramic view from your seat in the app before you buy, so you know what to expect when you arrive. Right now, what you need to do is just take the guesswork out of buying Major League Baseball tickets with Gametime. Download the Gametime app, create the account, use the promo code LOCKEDONNFL for $20 off your first purchase. Terms do apply. Again, create the account, use the promo code LOCKEDONNFL. That's all one word, LOCKEDONNFL for $20 off. Download Gametime Day. Last minute tickets, lowest price, guaranteed. All right, Raider Nation, here we go. Segment number 2 of today's Locked On Raiders podcast, as this is the best of series getting wrapped up with show number 7. And again, we'll be back with a brand new show coming up on Monday. That's July 1st. But we might as well go out with a bang, right? One of my favorite interviews that I did throughout the course of the year was with Marcus Allen and Tim Brown. Part 1 of the conversation is just myself and Marcus Allen from the Raiders Alumni Wellness Weekend. He was the first one, and then he brought in Tim Brown. You'll hear all that coming up in segment number 3. But here's myself and the Hall of Famer, Marcus Allen.
Mr. Marcus Allen, how you doing, my man?
I was thinking Tim Brown, maybe. I don't. Lionel Washington.
Hey, you know what? I'm sure I'll see Tim
Jesse
Brown.
Hester. There's a lot of guys.
Seeing them all walking around here. But it was funny. We were sitting down. I was sitting down with Nick Bell and Jay Schrader when you walked through, and Jay all of a sudden in the middle of the conversation was like, hey, three twos right there. Hold on. 3 2s right there. I got to go say what's up.
Yeah, I guess I had quite a few nicknames. 3-2 was one of them, yeah.
There you go. There you go. Well, we're so happy that you could join us. But, this is a great alumni wellness weekend that the Raiders and Mark Davis make sure that they put on every year, and this is a big event. How important is this to be able to have these kind of events?
Well, I think it's great. I think most players that leave the game feel like, and if they don't go out the way they'd like, the game has sort of taken something from them.
Yeah.
Right, and so they're sort of skeptical, moving forward. But when you have, especially a game that you played and you played extremely hard, and then it's all taken away, and then you are skeptical whether that game is going to later benefit you.
Right.
And then the Raiders are a completely different organization than anybody else. Mark has tried to provide every single thing for the Legends program to help guys succeed in life, whether it's health, whether it's mental health, whether it's financial literacy. I mean, he's really sort of is the I guess the touchstone, if you will. The guy that's above everyone else out there that is doing things for former players. And
right.
So you have a lot of guys here. I think approximately 150 guys.
That's awesome.
That are here. And I talked to Ronnie Lott earlier, and without saying very much, he basically said, "Oh, the 49ers." He didn't say this, but I know what he was alluding to. The 49ers aren't doing that, right?
Right.
So. It just gives you an idea of what how Mark cares about the former players, and he's trying to provide every opportunity for them to be as healthy and take advantage of all the benefits that the league has offered. A lot of things that I guess players aren't aware of. We think again, we walk away thinking the league really doesn't care. Well, in fact. They have provided, a lot of opportunities in a lot of different areas for us to benefit from. We just have to take full advantage of that. Today, if you don't succeed, it's your fault, really.
Yeah, because it's out there.
Yeah, it's out there.
It's out there, for sure. Marcus Allen is with us here on Raider Nation Radio 920. And I saw you earlier in this chair where you're laying back, your feet are up, you got the blindfolds on, you got the headset on. How relaxing is that? And what is that stimulating for the body, or?
Yeah, it's vibration.
Okay.
And it certainly stimulates the body. As we educate ourselves and get away from the old paradigm, we understand that vibration and frequency is everything. It heals everything.
Yeah.
Right? We don't need to do the things that we've done in the past. Unfortunately, it's because we want to monetize everything. But the reality is, if there are treatments out there that can heal people but healing people is a bad business model.
yeah, I got you.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, yeah.
Unfortunately.
There's no doubt. So when you get together and you get to see all your brothers and start to chop it up with them and talk with them and just be in the same area like we are right now, I mean, what does that mean for you?
Well, it means the world to me. I haven't seen Jesse Hester in, golly, almost seems like over 20 years or something like that. So
yeah.
And I encouraged him. First of all, I said it was great seeing you. And I was just actually watching an old game the other day. And I said to myself, where's Jesse? I haven't seen him. I wonder what he's doing. And then he shows up here. And I've encouraged him to come back for the reunion we have every year during the, I guess, the final preseason game, I think it is. So, we have, I think, approximately 300 guys that come back for that.
Yeah, I remember that.
I've gone to the last two, and I won't miss it again. I mean, it's just, it's a special bond when you go to, when you fight and go in a foxhole with these guys, and the blood, sweat, and tears that you when you go to camp, you build this, this bond that most people don't understand. And obviously when you go in the game and then you win a championship, I mean, that's something that just can't be broken. So you may not see a guy for 20 years and it feels like yesterday, and it feels like, I mean, it's such a part of your life. It's just special.
Yeah, they're your brothers. They're your brothers for life. Yeah, you talk about it all the time. The
band
fraternity.
of brothers, absolutely right.
Absolutely. And you mentioned going to camp, and the Raiders are going to be going to Costa Mesa. They're going to leave Henderson, and they're going to go to Costa Mesa. How important is that to get away and be with your brothers and start that bonding for training camp?
Well,
or is it important? Maybe it's not important.
Of course it's important. I mean, to get away, I mean, obviously, maybe.
Right.
Is it safe to say it gets too hot here?
Yes, it's safe to say it gets very hot. And it got hotter.
That's the reason?
Early.
I think the temperature in Costa Mesa is going to be pretty good, right?
Yeah, it's going to be
Is that
fantastic.
where the Rams used to practice a long time ago down there?
The Rams
in
and the
Irvine
Chargers.
or something like that?
Yeah, absolutely.
Many years ago. Well, I'm talking about prior to the move to
Gotcha.
SoFi.
Yeah.
But I think back in the day, somewhere down there and stuff. Listen, anytime you get together in training camp, it's a little different now. I must tell you, is when you have these OTAs and guys around all off season long.
Yeah.
There's really no excitement in seeing them. We used to have mini camp, rookie mini camp, and then we had a mini camp, and so we wouldn't see guys from April until July. Right. And so then it was an excitement to see guys.
Yeah.
It was like, man,
what you been up to?
We can't wait to get together.
Right.
But when you see guys every single day now it's like, oh gosh, you really got to be able to go down and maintain that and your focus and your energy and everything else because you're constantly with each other. I always think a break is necessary.
Yeah.
Once the season was over for me, I did nothing for almost 2 months. Okay. Nothing.
Yeah.
I just made sure I didn't gain weight.
Right.
I let my body rest. I think it was important to give away because the football it's too demanding the sport to be. I mean, it's too emotionally demanding and physically demanding to be year round.
Yeah.
You got to have a break in there.
Yeah.
Absolutely. So. That's just the way I look at it.
So there it was right there, myself and number 32, Marcus Allen, the Hall of Famer. And coming up in segment number 3, you'll actually hear him bring in Tim Brown. I didn't get Tim Brown on the interview. I always take a lot of pride for being able to land different guests in these interviews. Marcus Allen did all the heavy lifting. And again, just one of those I'll never forget. This interview is always going to be one of my favorites. I know a lot of Raider Nation has talked about it, commented on it already, and thought about it as those are a couple of the heroes, a couple of the GOATs when it comes to the silver and black. Marcus Allen and Tim Brown, you'll hear that joint conversation, part 2 of our conversation. You'll hear that coming up in segment number 3 of today's Locked On Raiders podcast. Here we go, Raider Nation. Segment number 3 of today's Locked On Raiders podcast. I want you to hear part 2 of the conversation I had at the Raiders Alumni Wellness Weekend when I had an opportunity to catch up with the 2 Hall of Famers, the 2 GOATs, Marcus Allen and Tim Brown. In segment number 2, you heard myself and Marcus Allen, a little one-on-one conversation. Then it got real. Then it got really real when Tim Brown walked in and Marcus Allen decided to take it upon himself to make sure he brought him in to the mix. And that's when, at this point, I just got out of the way and let those two have the conversation, let them have the floor, and it turned out to be fantastic. So here's part 2 of the conversation. Marcus Allen, and you'll hear him bring in the great Tim Brown. Here it is on the Locked On Raiders podcast. Check it out.
There's the GOAT, Tim Brown.
TB.
Hey, you know what? See, now he's ignoring
Yeah,
me.
he's trying to act like he tried to act like he don't see us and hear
Hey,
us.
too much modesty is conceit, Tim.
He act like.
Hey, I'm blowing you up and you're ignoring me. I just called you the GOAT.
Come on over here, Tim. Hold on.
Now he's ignoring me, and I said, too much modesty is conceit, Tim.
Yeah. so now we got you in the foxhole with us. Now here we go.
Hey, this is my brother.
Could be dangerous.
Yeah, I know, and
This
that's
could
what
be
I'm
real
here for.
dangerous right now.
That's what I'm here for. Touchdown, Tim Brown has entered the building.
Yes, and I just you heard me.
Yep.
Everyone here heard me. That was just blowing him up. And
Just
he just
blowing you
ignored
up.
me.
Just-
He's gotten kind of cocky lately. You
Little
know what I
bit.
mean?
Is he talking about me?
He's talking-
Come on, man. He cannot be talking about me.
I was like his PR man, dude.
He was. Man,
Dude.
I'm talking about his gold jacket, and he says, wait, hold on. There's the one right there.
Absolutely.
Look, I don't have a gold jacket without this man. That's just a fact of the matter, I mean, he literally taught me how to play the game on this
Hey,
level.
mine's gratuitous, too. I don't even charge him, dude. I love him that much. And I just, blow him up every time I see him. And he ignored me.
And then he ignored you.
No, I can't
When did
believe
I
it.
ignore him?
He takes this.
When did that happen?
I'm not going to lie. We all were yelling at you.
I cannot.
Stuff.
You guys, no, look. You guys can't. You think you're yelling, but you're not.
No, I'm loud. I'm
because
the
you have
loudest
these
guy in the room.
things on.
Hey.
I was sitting right there. I didn't hear anybody.
Hey, he
If
takes
he would have came up, I would have known you guys were over here.
takes this Notre Dame stuff too far,
Oh,
man.
God.
Come on, Jimmy.
Nice,
Oh, boy.
nice.
Come
Well,
on,
Tim,
Too funny.
welcome to this awesome event here. How are you feeling? How's everything going?
I'm doing good, man. I'm doing really good. I think it's incredible to see what the Raiders are doing. A lot of people talk about doing things, but they're really putting their money and their time behind it. And, I just wish more guys would come.
Yeah.
Because, the guys who are not here are probably the guys who really need it the most. And so that's unfortunate. But I think we should all probably do a better job of trying to make sure the guys we know they need to be here next year,
Yeah, and when, the Raiders, and Marcus was talking about it as well, that the Raiders really make sure that they focus in and make sure that the alumni are taken care of in a major way, and every team doesn't do that, right?
No, it's amazing.
Yeah.
Especially now with all the money that's out there, man. It wouldn't be anything for these teams to do more. But if it's not in your heart, man, it's really hard to do. And, we both have relationships with Mr. Davis that may not be exactly what we wanted, but at the same time, the one thing that we can say is he cares about his players and he'll do whatever he could for them. So.
What is it like when you get back to these events? You get to see all your brothers. Like you said, I don't have a gold jacket without Marcus. And, Marcus is saying, I haven't seen this guy for this long. I haven't seen this guy. What is that like for you?
I mean, I saw Jesse Hester today for the first time.
Yeah, I mean, it may
in 20, 25 years.
Yeah, I was going to say maybe
He just
even
said the same
longer.
thing.
I mean, I don't know when he got released from the Raiders, but whatever that was, I think that was the last time I saw him, man. For him to come around the corner.
Maybe 30 years. I
mean,
don't
it's
know.
crazy.
It just
Yeah.
seems like,
So,
That's
I mean,
funny.
it's
Marcus just mentioned him.
Yeah.
Just mentioned him.
Look, when I got to the Raiders, I mean, this guy was like the mental coach, right? He was, how you handle the team and all that. But I had James Lofton, the ultimate. I had Willie Gault, speed guy. I had Mervin Fernandez, probably one of the toughest guys you're ever going to see. And Jesse Hester was the best pass route running guy in the NFL at that time, as far as I was concerned.
Right.
And, to be able to learn from those guys for a couple of years, man, was really a gift,
That's awesome. That really is. And, again, I just love being over here, sitting in the corner and observing you guys all walk in and get to fellowship with each other and really get everything going.
Timmy mentioned something really interesting there. Tim, you mentioned all the guys that you came in with that mentored you and stuff like that. Imagine me coming in the same. There was Upshaw and there was Shell.
Yeah.
And then I had Greg Pruitt.
Yeah.
And I had Ted Hendricks. I was surrounded by, Cliff Branch. And I mean,
you hear them names, bro?
Right.
So you talking about I know you feel fortunate. I felt fortunate, too. It's like, man, are you kidding me? I mean, I'm surrounded by just like an ocean full of knowledge, dude. I mean, these guys, and Greg Pruitt, and very little people know this. I mean, he was so important to my development because he gave me the little nuance, these little tricks of the trade as a rookie that I really learned, right? The bluff cut and things like that, run an option route and how to work people and stuff like that. I felt I was pretty good at it, but after watching Greg Pruitt, I really got really good at it and stuff. And Greg was such, I think it was one of the best screen, runners and draw, runners in the game, period, you know what I mean? And so I learned a lot from him and stuff. So it was just interesting to hear you were surrounded by Lofton, you were surrounded by this guy, that guy. And that's one of the great things about the Raiders. They had so many great players. Yeah. And if you have enough wisdom as a young person, you're going to be a sponge. You're just going to stand there, absorb every single thing. Tim did that. I did that. So.
Yep. No doubt about it.
I mean, that is super important. And I'm looking at the current Raiders team. And Marcus, I remember seeing you in the locker room week 18 after that Denver victory and everybody's celebrating. How important is it for you guys to be able to give that knowledge to the current team? It's current players, if they pick your brains.
Yeah, I have to be honest. I may talk to Devontae every blue moon, but it's not as much as I would like. You know what I mean? Yeah. I try and throw little things out there, hoping that he'll, come back and say, "What do you mean by that?" Yeah. But that doesn't necessarily happen, and I get it, man. I think Marcus, has done a really good job. I know he was trying his best with Josh Jacobs.
Yeah, he spent a lot of time with JJ. He used to talk about Josh. Look, man, and I tell this to my wife. I say this to my wife all the time. When I see these guys with hamstring injuries and all that, I say, man, look, here's a guy that tore his knee up. They wrapped my freaking hamstring around my posterior cruciate. I played 15 years after that. Right.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I mean, you would think somebody would call and say, "Hey, bro, how'd you do that?"
Hey, Timmy. Listen here, I know people don't want to hear this, but this gives you an example of just the different cultures. When I ended up going to Kansas City, and guys were practicing, and they had a twinge. They were out of practice. I was going, what? A twinge? I was going like, what?
Right.
I don't know if we're going to be successful here.
Right.
Because with the Raiders, dude, I mean, George Anderson, he would put an apparatus on you. He would create one.
That brother tied a bicycle tube
I know.
to my calf and taped it to my butt, and I played a game.
They were old school, dude.
And scored on a 65-yard touchdown pass.
But we didn't accept being hurt.
Right.
A twinge, keeping you out of practice, I'm going like, well, our coaching staff or medical staff wouldn't say,
right,
you're out today.
And that was in you guys, though. That was in you guys, though, too. You didn't want to miss.
No.
Right?
No.
I mean, the games was everything.
No.
I mean, you always had, I always felt like, anyway, that, there's somebody waiting.
Right.
They don't have this brother back here.
Right.
He waiting for the opportunity.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And you never know. He get out there and a couple balls, fall in his hands.
You don't want to be Wally Pip.
Man.
So, I mean, you have to, you got to stay on the field, man, because if you don't, I mean, that's how I got the job.
Right.
Mervin Fernandez got hurt.
Yeah.
I wasn't starting going into 92. I was backing Mervin up and happy to do so, to be honest with you. And he got hurt, and I had 50 catches the rest of the year.
Wait. Did I just hear you say you're happy to do so?
At that particular
Explain that to me. Come on.
Because I was coming back from my knee injury.
Okay, all right. Okay.
Yeah.
Now you put some context.
Right,
because I was like, not the Tim Brown I know.
No, I was happy, because, the knee – I had got a year under my belt, but I was still like, hey,
Okay, all right.
But
no, that explains everything.
Yeah. So,
that was not the TV I know. No.
Look, man, I'm just happy to be a fly on the wall. Like I'm letting you guys share stories. This is a blessing for me just to hear these kind of stories. And you mentioned waiting for opportunities. Antonio Pierce, he when he was in Washington, right? He was an undrafted free agent. He was a backup, and he waited for his opportunity to get on the field, and then he never was able to come off, right?
Yeah.
They wouldn't let him off the field. He was so good. Same thing, he's an interim coach, and he did really good things with the team last year. Now he's the head coach. What have you thought about him just reinstalling the Raider way?
It's really been amazing, man. I know he has a short resume right now, but I just think that the attitude that they played those last 7, 8, 8 games was incredible. Didn't win every game, obviously, but you felt like you were seeing a team that was trying.
Yeah.
That was really, they were on the same page. They were trying to make something happen. And look, I mean, sitting in the catbird seat I'm in, that's really all I want to see.
Yeah.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
If we win, we want to win. We want to win championships. But my man, it was hard to watch this team go out and play like they played, for that year and a half or whatever it was. So
that was a sizable energy shift.
Yes.
It was
huge.
Yes, yes.
And I think you had to be blind not to see it. And I think the fans recognized it right away.
They did.
They
called this show every day and told me about it.
Yeah, and it's like, whoa. I mean, you could see the energy change, the attitude change, and the willingness to go out and just give everything you got.
Right.
And listen here, organizations are organizations, right? What really separates organizations is those who understand that people make an organization.
Right.
Right? And when you put people in a position to succeed, right, and you invest in them and you give them everything, you empower them to be, what they can be. And I think that's what Antonio's doing.
Yeah.
And I think, I'm expecting great things. The expectations is high,
Yeah, no, I feel like it as well, and especially led by the defense and what they were able to do. And I feel like they're only going to be better with Christian Wilkins now in the middle. This makes everyone's job that much easier, right?
Yeah.
Having that big fella in the middle.
Oh, yeah. I was thinking about coming back and try out to play corner now. hey, Tim, come on. We can play corner.
Hey, bro, no doubt. Hey, on my little deal, they got me at 1998 and 88. I was like, hey, if I was 47, I may get this thing a shot.
Dude, all we need to cover is like 2 seconds.
That's
now,
it.
dude. Come on.
I tried to play corner, and this guy right here, he pushed me in the small of my back. And, he pushed off. I mean, look, wide receivers, you're a Hall of Famer. You got to have the tricks of the trade. He gave me the trick of the trade, pushed me in the small of my back, got me out of position. So, but, yeah, if they have that kind of pass rush, man, they
that
should.
was it, huh?
Yeah. I'm sticking to that. I'm sticking to that, Marcus. That's the
You
story.
probably need to add a little bit more to that.
No, I'm sticking to that story. I'm sticking to that. It was all the tricks of the trade. That's what it was. I wasn't in position. Well, fellas, thank you so much for coming here, spending some time. I want you guys to have a fantastic weekend, but Raider Nation loves to hear from you guys. Obviously,
our pleasure.
Goats in the Raider organization. So we definitely appreciate both Marcus Allen and Tim Brown with us. Thank you, guys.
Brother. Appreciate you.
Hey,
man.
I'm just glad to be in Tim's presence.
Oh,
man.
Hey, you and me both, Marcus.
He tells me all the time. Too much modesty is conceit. All right, so remember that.
That's what he said.
hey, I always said, I always say, listen here. Hey, handsome, intelligent. I mean, he's personable. He works hard. Okay, enough about myself. Let's talk about Tim Brown now.
There it is. I love it. Great stuff right there.
So there it was right there. I know, again, as I mentioned, that I put this on the podcast not too long ago, but why not? Why not end with one of my favorites, right? That's one of those interviews I could listen to multiple times and hear something new each time. And I was a part of the interview, and I still hear stuff that stands out to me that's new. But Marcus Allen, Tim Brown, you really can't go wrong with that. That's a great way to close out the best of series, because that was literally the best of the best. Raider Nation, have a fantastic weekend. I'm wrapping up my vacation. Be back on Monday with a brand new show. I'll let you know all the tales from Hawaii, let you know about just a little bit of everything, man. Just going to be so excited to be back and do a brand new show and be recharged and ready to rock and roll the rest of 2024. So enjoy your weekend, Raider Nation. I hope it's a blessed weekend. Take care of your family. Love on your family as always. And of course, just win, baby. We'll be back on Monday here on the Locked On Raiders podcast.